Okay, so today we're going to be learning about the Pythagorean theorem. And we're going to go pretty quickly through these first few pages. Just remember that every time I change a page, you're going to change pages every 2 pages. So you will still be on the first page here now. This is just looking at the anatomy of a right triangle. And we're looking at a few different items when we're talking about the anatomy of a triangle, of a right triangle. The right triangle has a hypotenuse, and then it is made up of 2 legs. And the hypotenuse, this side here, is always across from the right angle. And then the legs are just the other 2 sides. Now, something that we don't have written right here that I would like you to put is that a right triangle must have a right angle. Let's go ahead and add that to your notes right here. So again, a right triangle is made up of one right angle, a side across from the right angle, the hypotenuse, and 2 sides called legs. Now this is just a visual representation of how the Pythagorean theorem works. We have a side A right here, a side B right here, and a side C right here. And what happens is when we take the area of this one, A times A, and add it to B times B, the area of this purple triangle, it ends up equaling the area of the larger triangle, the area of the largest side, C times C. Now each of these are written in their condensed form, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And that's what we're going to be talking about for the next few pages. And again, we're going to move pretty quickly through these ones. So again, here's that condensed form one more time. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now this is just what the Pythagorean theorem is written as a theorem. If a triangle is a right triangle with leg lengths a and b and hypotenuse c, then a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And that's just that word version of that visual representation we just looked at. Now remember, one of the important things that might be hard for you to see on your page is that c is the length of the hypotenuse every time we write it out as a squared plus b squared equals c squared. C is the hypotenuse. Another way to write the Pythagorean theorem is that if a triangle is a right triangle, instead of saying a and b, we can say leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared, which we have the leg, and then the hypotenuse here across from the right angle. So let's just get some steps written down right here to make sure that we understand this all the way. So step 1 is plugging in our formula for a squared plus b squared equals c squared, or leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. So step 1 substitute values for A and B. Now step 2 is going to be to square those values. Square the values. And so we started off on this problem with 3 squared plus 4 squared. 3 squared is 9, and 4 squared is 16. Step 3, add the squared values together. And in this case, 9 plus 16 gives us 25. And our final step is going to be to square root. So step 4, square root both sides of the equation. And that's going to leave us with C by itself, and our answer, which is the square root of 25, is 5. In other words, 5 times 5 equals 25. So what we're going to do is just have you practice a couple of these, and then you're going to move into a worksheet. I will slowly put up the answers for all of these ones so that you can check your work to make sure you're ready for the assignment. I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit so I have more space. So looking at this first one, we would have 8 squared plus 15 squared equals C squared. I would take those squared values, and 8 squared is 64. 15 squared is 225. It all still equals C squared. I'm going to add those two together and get 289 equals C squared. I'm going to rewrite that right over here so that I can finish up the problem. 289 equals C squared. And I'm going to take the square root of both sides. And when I take the square root of 289, I get C equals 17. So go ahead and pause the video at this point and try numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5. And in a moment, I will work through those ones with you as well. Okay, so looking at this next one, we would end up with 7 squared plus 24 squared equals C squared. And 7 squared is 49. And 24 squared is 576. We add those two together, and we get 625. We're going to take the square root of both sides. and end up with C equals 25. If you haven't started on number 3, go ahead and pause the video and work through that one. On 3, 4, and 5, I'm going to give you just the answers. If you have difficulty with those, then we will look into fixing that from there. Alright, so the answers here are going to be 41 for number 3, 26 for number 4, and 10 for number 5. Please remember that having the correct answer is not what is important right now. It is this part right here, showing all of this work, is what is the important part of these problems. So we have an assignment for you that goes along with these. I want you to go ahead and give it a try on those 12. Tomorrow I will be getting you caught up on the distance formula and how to do the distance formula on the coordinate grid, as well as without a graph. Thank you.